3 weeks into their journey, the changes in the human crew were impossible to ignore. Dr. Morgan stood in the medical bay, staring at test results that should have been impossible. "This doesn't make sense," she muttered, running the scanner over Blake's arm for the 5th time. "What doesn't make sense?" Blake asked. He was fixing a broken panel with his bare hands, bending metal like it was soft clay. "Your bone density has increased by 40%. Your muscle mass is up 30%. Your brain activity is off the charts." "I feel great," Blake said. "Better than I've felt in years." Morgan shook her head. "The radiation should be killing you. Instead, it's making you into some kind of superhuman." Captain Drake walked into the medical bay. He moved differently now, faster, more confident. His gray hair had started turning black again. "How are the others?" he asked. "Same story," Morgan said. "Fox can pilot the ship with her eyes closed now. Cole's navigation calculations are perfect every time. Reed intercepted an alien transmission from 3 systems away." "What kind of transmission?" "That's what we need to talk about." They gathered in the meeting room. Reed had set up the communication equipment, her fingers dancing over controls that used to require 2 people to operate. "I picked this up 2 hours ago," Reed said. "It's encrypted, but I cracked it." She played the recording. Alien voices spoke, in their clicking language, but the ship's computer translated it into English. "Status report on the human crew? No word from the Nexus Dawn in 3 weeks. They should be dead by now." "Good. The ship is expensive, but worth the risk if the weapons work." "Weapons?" Drake asked. Reed played more of the recording. "The Death Hunters have destroyed 17 expeditions in the Thanatos sector. If our new weapon system can kill even one of them, the test will be successful." "And the humans?" "Expendable test pilots. They will die, but their deaths will give us valuable data." The room went quiet. Finally, Blake spoke. "They lied to us." "About everything," Cole said. "This isn't a delivery mission. It's a weapons test." "Using us as bait," Fox added. Drake stood up. "Reed, can you access the ship's full systems?" "I've been trying. There are locked sections everywhere, password protected." "Blake, what about you? Can you get into the restricted areas?" Blake smiled. It was not a nice smile. "Give me an hour." While Blake worked on breaking into the ship's hidden systems, the others tried to understand what they were really dealing with. Cole pulled up star charts of the Thanatos sector. "Look at this," he said. 17 expeditions lost, all different species, all using advanced ships." "What killed them?" Fox asked. "Something called Death Hunters. The files don't say much, just that they're big, and they destroy everything they find." Morgan was studying the medical data again. "I think I know why the radiation makes us stronger." Everyone turned to look at her. "Earth has weak magnetic fields compared to other planets. We get hit with cosmic radiation all the time. Our bodies learn to use it instead of just surviving it." "So we're actually built for this?" Reed asked. "More than built for it, we're perfect for it." Blake's voice came over the ship's communication system. "You all need to see this. Meet me in Cargo Bay 7. They found Blake standing in front of a wall that wasn't there an hour ago. The metal had been peeled back like paper, revealing a hidden room full of weapons. "The whole ship is armed," Blake said. "Plasma cannons, fusion missiles, something called a reality disruptor. This isn't an exploration vessel, it's a warship." Drake picked up a plasma rifle. It was designed for alien hands, but he could make it work. "They sent us here to fight. Monsters with weapons we don't know how to use." "Maybe," Fox said. "But look at us now. A month ago, Blake couldn't bend a steel bar. Now he's tearing through titanium walls." "The ship's AI has been watching us," Reed said. "I found the monitoring programs. It's supposed to take over if we die or become unable to function." "Can you shut it down?" Drake asked. Reed grinned. "Already did. Turns out being smarter helps with hacking alien computers." Over the next few days, they discovered more secrets. The ship had hidden armor that could be activated. The quantum drive could be used as a weapon, creating tears in space itself. Most importantly, they found the real mission files. "Listen to this," Reed said, reading from her screen. "Project Death Farm. Use expendable species to test weapons against unknown hostiles in Thanatos sector. Priority, weapon data collection. Crew survival, irrelevant. Death farm? Cole asked. That's what they call it. The aliens have been sending ships to die in that sector for years. Not to explore, to feed whatever lives there. Feed it what? Morgan asked. Technology, ships, crews. The Death Hunters don't just kill, they learn, they adapt, they get stronger with every victory. Drake felt something cold in his stomach. How many ships? Hundreds, maybe thousands. All the lost expeditions weren't accidents. They were sacrifices. The aliens are farming civilizations, Blake said, growing them strong enough to be useful, then feeding them to these hunters. But why? Fox asked. Reed pulled up more files. Because the Death Hunters make something the aliens want. Some kind of energy that only comes from destroyed civilizations. They're not trying to stop the Death Hunters, Morgan realized. They're feeding them. And we're supposed to be the next meal, Cole said. Drake looked around at his crew. They were all changed now. Stronger, faster, smarter. But most importantly, they were angry. Here's what we're going to do, he said. We're going to the Thanatos sector. We're going to find these Death Hunters. And then? Blake asked. Then, we're going to kill them all. The aliens expect us to die, Fox said. Let them expect it, Drake said. We're not the same species that left Earth. We're something new, something they created by accident. What are we? Reed asked. Drake smiled, and for the first time in weeks, it was a happy smile. We're hunters, and we're about to show the galaxy what happens when you try to use humans as bait. The Nexus Dawn flew on toward the Thanatos sector. In the cargo bays, the human crew practiced with alien weapons. In the medical bay, Morgan documented changes in their bodies that would have been called impossible a month ago. In the control room, Cole plotted courses through space that would have killed normal pilots. Behind them, the aliens waited for news of their deaths. They waited to hear that the expensive ship had been destroyed, that the weapons had been tested, that the Death Hunters had been fed. They would wait a long time. The humans were no longer prey. They were predators, and they were very, very hungry. As they approached the edge of the Thanatos sector, Reed picked up new transmissions. Not from aliens this time, but from something else. Something old and patient and very, very dangerous. Captain, she said, I think the Death Hunters know we're coming. Good, Drake said. I'd hate for them to miss the show. The first Death Hunter to attack them was the size of a city. It moved through space like a living mountain, covered in weapons that had belonged to 1,000 different civilizations. Plasma cannons, laser arrays, and things that defied description, all pointed at the Nexus Dawn. Here they come, Fox said, her hands dancing over the pilot controls. The Death Hunter fired everything at once. Space lit up with deadly energy that should have vaporized them instantly. But Fox wasn't flying like a normal pilot anymore. She twisted the ship through the weapon fire like it was a dance, moving in patterns that followed no logic except pure instinct. The enhanced human reflexes from the radiation made her faster than any computer. Impossible, came the voice of the gardeners. No species can move like that. You've never met humans, Drake replied. Blake was at the weapons console, but he wasn't using the weapons normally. Instead of firing at the Death Hunter's armor, he was targeting the joints where different technologies were connected. These things are made from scrap, he said. They just stuck together whatever they found. If we hit the right spots, his plasma blast severed a connection between what looked like a ship's engine and an alien city structure. Part of the Death Hunter broke away, spinning helplessly into space. Interesting, the gardener voice said. You fight like no others. More. Death Hunters approached, but something strange happened. Instead of attacking together, they began to study the humans' fighting style. They were learning, adapting their movements to counter human tactics. They're getting smarter, Cole warned. Good, Reed said. She was working at her station, but not on communications. She was hacking into the Death Hunters' shared network. If they're connected, they have a weakness. Dr. Morgan was monitoring the crew's vital signs. Your brain activity is off the charts. All of you. The stress is making you even stronger. She was right. As the battle intensified, the humans were becoming more than human. Fox could see the path of enemy fire before it was fired. Blake could calculate weapon trajectories in his head. Cole was navigating through debris fields at impossible speeds. But the most important change was in how they thought. Other species fought using logic and strategy. Humans fought using chaos and intuition. "Reed, how's that hack coming?" Drake asked while dodging a beam that could have cut a planet in half. "Almost there. Their network is incredibly complex, but it's also predictable. They think in patterns. And we don't," Blake said, firing at seemingly random targets that somehow all connected to bring down another Death Hunter. The gardener's voice came through the speakers again, but this time it sounded confused. "You are not following any tactical doctrine. Your movements make no sense." "That's the point," Drake said. "You've been fighting civilizations that think like machines. We think like animals." Fox suddenly threw the ship into a dive toward the world of death itself. The Death Hunters followed, thinking they were forcing the humans into a trap. Instead, Fox flew the ship into the construct's superstructure, weaving between preserved cities and stolen technologies. The Death Hunters, built for space combat, couldn't follow without destroying their own collection. "Clever," the voice admitted, "but you cannot hide forever." "Who's hiding?" Reed asked. "I'm in your network." She had done it. Reed was inside the Death Hunter's shared consciousness, and what she found there changed everything. "Captain, they're not evil," she said. "They're scared." Scared of what? Of dying. Of being forgotten. They were the first civilization to become truly advanced. But they realized that no matter how smart or powerful they became, they would eventually die and be forgotten. On the screens, they could see the preserved sections of the world of death. Not trophies, but desperate attempts to keep memory alive. They're trying to save everyone, Morgan realized, in the only way they know how. "By making them like us," the gardener voice said sadly. "By removing the pain of existence." "But that's not life," Drake said. "That's just storage. Life is pain. Life is struggle. Life is loss. Life is also joy," Fox said. "Life is growth. Life is the chance to become something new." Blake was studying the construct's structure. "Captain, I think I understand their technology now. It's not just preservation. It's translation." "What do you mean?" "They're trying to turn organic life into digital life, but they're doing it wrong. They're copying the form instead of the spirit." Reed was deeper in their network now. "I can see the trapped civilizations. They're still conscious, but they can't grow, can't change, can't die. They're stuck forever in the moment they were preserved." "That's not immortality," Cole said. "That's hell." The Death Hunters had surrounded the world of death, but they weren't attacking, they were listening. "You offer us something we have never encountered," the voice said. "The ability to grow through struggle rather than despite it." "It's what makes us human," Drake said. "But you will die. Your species will end. All species end." "Maybe," Morgan said. "But while we live, we really live." Reed had found something else in the network. "Captain, there's a central core. If I can reach it, I can free the trapped civilizations." "Do it." "But the gardeners will die if I do this. Their consciousness is linked to the preservation network." Drake looked at his crew. They had come here expecting to die. Instead, they had found something worse than death: existence without meaning. "Give them a choice," he said. Reed sent a message through the network to every preserved consciousness, every trapped civilization, every stored memory. "You can stay as you are, safe, eternal, unchanging. Or you can live again, with all the risk and pain and joy that means." The response was immediate. Every civilization, every species, every individual consciousness that had been saved by the gardeners chose the same thing. They chose life. The world of death began to change. The preserved cities started to crumble as their inhabitants chose to become mortal again. The Death Hunters stopped moving as the gardeners faced their first real choice in millions of years. We do not know how to die, the voice said. We can teach you, Morgan offered. Not how to die, but how to live. Even if it means pain? Especially if it means pain. The largest Death Hunter, ancient beyond measure, slowly approached the Nexus Dawn. When it spoke, its voice was different, not the collective voice of the gardeners, but something individual. We have watched life for so long that we forgot how to live it. Show us. Drake smiled. Reed, open a channel to the Federation. To tell them we're alive. To tell them we're coming home. With friends. The world of death was dissolving as billions of beings chose mortality over preservation. The Death Hunters were changing too, their collected technologies separating back into individual ships as their crews chose to live again. And in the center of it all, 12 humans who had been sent to die were teaching an ancient civilization how to be alive. The Federation won't like this, Cole said. The Federation used us as bait, Blake replied. I don't think we care what they like anymore. What happens now? Fox asked. Drake looked at the reborn civilizations, at the changing Death Hunters, at his crew who had become something new and wonderful. Now we go home, he said, and we show the galaxy what humans can really do. The Thanatos sector looked like a graveyard. Broken ships floated in space like dead fish in dark water. Some were so old that their metal had turned to dust. Others still sparked with dying electricity. How many ships are out there? Fox asked, piloting the Nexus Dawn carefully through the debris field. Thousands, Cole answered, reading his scanners. Maybe tens of thousands. Ships from every species in the galaxy. Captain Drake stood behind them watching the screens. This isn't a hunting ground, it's a collection. Collection of what? Blake asked. Before anyone could answer, the ship's alarm started screaming. Something huge appeared on their sensors, moving fast toward them. What is that? Reed shouted over the noise. On the main screen, they saw their first Death Hunter. It was the size of a small moon, black as space itself, covered in what looked like metal spikes and organic tentacles. Parts of it pulsed with strange light. Other parts moved like they were alive. It's beautiful, Morgan whispered. It's terrifying, Blake corrected. The creature, if it was a creature, didn't attack right away. It circled their ship like a shark studying its prey. They could see smaller pieces breaking off from its main body, floating toward them. Scans, Drake ordered. Cole worked frantically at his station. I don't know what it is. Part machine, part biology. The small pieces are some kind of probe. It's studying us, Reed realized, learning about our ship. The probes touched the Nexus Dawn's hull. Immediately, lights began flashing all over the Death Hunter's body. It made a sound, not heard but felt, that made their bones vibrate. It knows we're different, Morgan said. Our radiation signature isn't like the other crews. Is that good or bad? Fox asked. They got their answer when the Death Hunter suddenly accelerated toward them, tentacles reaching out like grabbing hands. Evasive action, Drake shouted. Fox threw the ship into a spin that would have killed normal humans, but the crew just held on and kept working. The Death Hunter's tentacles missed them by meters. Weapons? Blake asked. Not yet, Drake said. We need to learn more. They fled deeper into the sector, the Death Hunter following but not catching up. It seemed more curious than hungry. There, Cole pointed at his screen. The center of the sector. That's where all the debris comes from. What they saw made them all go quiet. In the center of the Thanatos sector was a planet that wasn't a planet. It was a construct, built from the remains of thousands of destroyed civilizations. Cities stacked on top of cities. Ships welded together into massive towers. Technology from 100 different species all merged into one impossible structure. The world of death, Reed breathed. Look at the surface, Morgan said. Those aren't cities, they're farms. She was right. The construct's surface was divided into sections, each one containing the preserved remains of a different civilization. Buildings, ships, even what looked like entire planets, all carefully arranged and maintained. They're not destroying civilizations, Drake realized. They're preserving them. But why? Blake asked. The answer came from an unexpected source. The ship's communication system crackled to life, and a voice spoke. Not alien clicking, but something that sounded almost human. Welcome, children of Earth. Everyone froze. You are different, the voice continued. Not like the others who come to feed us. Who are you? Drake asked. We are what remains of the first civilization to reach the stars. We became so advanced that we transcended physical form. We became eternal. You're the Death Hunters? Reed asked. We are the gardeners. We plant civilizations and watch them grow. When they are ripe, we harvest them and add their knowledge to our collection. On the screen, they could see the Death Hunter that had been following them. Up close, they could see it wasn't a single creature, but thousands of different technologies merged together. You preserve them, Morgan said. We give them eternal life. Every civilization that has ever existed lives on in our garden. Their knowledge, their culture, their dreams, all preserved forever. By killing them, Blake said angrily, by freeing them from the burden of flesh, from the fear of death, from the struggle of existence, Drake stepped forward. What do you want from us? You are different. You grow stronger through struggle. You adapt instead of breaking. We have watched civilizations for millions of years, but we have never seen anything like you. So we offer you a choice. Join us willingly, and we will make you eternal. Like us, your species will never die, never suffer, never struggle again. And if we refuse? Fox asked. Then you will be harvested like the others. But we hope you will choose wisdom. The communication ended, leaving them in silence. They want to turn us into them, Cole said. No more struggle, no more growth, no more life, Morgan said. Just existence. That's not living, Blake said. That's being dead but not knowing it. Drake looked at his crew. They had all changed so much in the past month. Stronger, faster, smarter. But most importantly, they were still human. Still fighting, still growing, still refusing to give up. Reed, can you scan that construct? Already am, Captain. It's incredible. The technology there could advance every civilization in the galaxy by thousands of years. Blake, what about those weapons we found? Ready to go. But Captain, that thing is huge. Our weapons might not even scratch it. Maybe we don't need to destroy it, Fox said. Maybe we need to understand it. Drake nodded. Cole, take us closer, but stay ready to run. As they approached the world of death, they could see more Death Hunters emerging from the construct's surface. Dozens of them, each one different, each one made from the remains of destroyed civilizations. Captain, Reed said urgently. I'm picking up something else. There are still living beings down there. What? The civilizations they preserved. Some of them are still alive, trapped inside the construct. Drake felt anger building in his chest. Not the hot anger of a moment, but the cold anger of purpose. They're not preserving civilizations, he said. They're torturing them. What do we do? Morgan asked. Drake looked at the world of death, at the Death Hunters surrounding it, at the thousands of years of stolen life and dreams and hopes. We do what humans do best, he said. We break things that need breaking. All of them? Blake asked. All of them. The Nexus Dawn moved toward the world of death, carrying 12 humans who had been sent here to die. The Death Hunters waited for them, confident in their eternal patience and accumulated power. They had never fought humans before. They had never fought a species that got stronger when things got worse. They had never fought creatures who looked at impossible odds and smiled. They were about to learn something new. Reed, broadcast this on all frequencies, Drake ordered. To every living being in that construct, to every trapped civilization, to every species that thinks we're already dead. What should I say? Drake smiled, and it was the smile of a predator who had just found prey. Tell them the humans are here. Tell them it's time to fight back. The meeting room on Station Alpha was cold and gray. 12 humans sat around a metal table looking at the alien officials who had called them there. The aliens looked like giant insects with 4 arms and shiny black eyes. They spoke through machines that made their voices sound like metal scraping against stone. "You have been chosen for a special mission," the lead alien said. His name was hard to say, so the humans just called him Boss. "It is a great honor for your kind." Captain Drake looked at his crew. They all knew what great honor meant when aliens said it. It meant someone was going to die. "What kind of mission?" Drake asked. He was a tall man with gray hair and scars on his hands from years of working on ships. Boss clicked his teeth together. "The ship Nexus Dawn needs a crew. It is our newest and most advanced vessel. Worth more money than your entire planet." Drake waited. There was always more to these deals. "The ship has had some problems," Boss continued. 3 crews have tried to fly it. All died within a month. "What killed them?" asked Dr. Morgan, the ship's doctor. She was a small woman with bright eyes who always asked the right questions. "The quantum drive system," Boss said. "It makes radiation that kills most life forms, but humans are different. You might last longer." "Engineer." Blake laughed. It was not a happy sound. "So you want us to fly your death ship because we might die slower than everyone else?" "Yes," Boss said simply. "You will take the ship to the Thanatos sector. Deliver it to our research station there. Simple job." Navigator Cole spoke up. "The Thanatos sector is forbidden space. No one goes there." "That is why we need you," Boss said. "Other species are too valuable to risk. But humans are new to the Federation, still proving themselves." The room got quiet. Everyone understood now. They were being sent to die because their lives didn't matter to the aliens. "What do we get if we succeed?" Drake asked. "Full Federation, citizenship for all humans. Your species will join the civilized galaxy. And if we die?" Boss made a sound like laughing. "Then you die doing something useful." Drake looked at his crew again. These were good people. Morgan had saved hundreds of lives as a doctor. Blake could fix any machine ever made. Cole could navigate through space storms that would kill other pilots. Fox was the best ship pilot in human space. Reed could talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. They were not expendable. But the aliens thought they were. "We need time to think," Drake said. "You have 1 hour," Boss replied. "The ship leaves tomorrow." The aliens left the room. The humans sat in silence for a long time. "It's a suicide mission," Blake said finally. "Maybe," Drake said. "But what choice do we have?" "We could say no," Cole suggested. "And then what?" Morgan asked. "They'll find another crew. More humans will die." "At least those humans would choose to die," Fox said. She was young, maybe 25, with quick hands and a quicker mind. "We're choosing for them." "No," Reed said. "We're choosing for us." They talked for the full hour. In the end, they all agreed. Not because they wanted to die, but because they wanted to live. And sometimes the only way to live was to walk into death and dare it to take you. When Boss came back, Drake stood up. "We'll do it," he said. Boss clicked his teeth again. "Good. You leave at dawn." The next morning, they stood in front of the Nexus Dawn. It was the most beautiful ship any of them had ever seen. Long and sleek, with a hull that seemed to glow with its own light. It looked like something gods would fly. "She's magnificent," Fox whispered. "She's also a coffin," Blake muttered. An alien technician gave them a quick tour. The ship had 12 decks, weapons they didn't understand, and a drive system that hummed with dangerous energy. The control room was bigger than most human apartments, with screens and buttons everywhere. "The quantum drive is here," the technician said, pointing to a sealed chamber. "Do not go in there. The radiation will kill you in minutes." "How long do we have?" Morgan asked. "Previous crews lasted 3 to 4 weeks. Maybe you will last 5. The technician left them alone with their new ship, their new tomb. "Well," Drake said, "let's see what we're working with." They spent the day learning the ship's systems. Everything was designed for alien hands and alien minds. The controls were too big, the screens too bright, the air too cold. But they adapted. Humans always adapted. That night, they sat in the mess hall, eating food that tasted like cardboard. "You know what I think?" Blake said. "I think they're lying." "About what?" Cole asked. "About the radiation? I think it kills aliens fast, but maybe it won't kill us at all." "Why would you think that?" Morgan asked. Blake smiled. "Because we come from Earth. Our planet tried to kill us every day for millions of years. Radiation, disease, predators, weather, everything. We survived because we're hard to kill." "Maybe," Drake said. "But let's not get too hopeful." "I'm not hopeful," Blake said. "I'm angry. They sent us here to die because they think we don't matter. I want to prove them wrong." "We all do," Reed said. "Question is how?" "By not dying," Fox said simply. "By doing the impossible. By coming back alive and making them regret treating us like garbage." "Sounds like a plan," Drake said. The next morning they launched. The Nexus Dawn moved through space like a dream, faster and smoother than any human ship. The quantum drive hummed beneath their feet, filling the air with strange energy. By the end of the first week, they should have been getting sick. The alien crews had started showing symptoms by day 5. Weakness, nausea, hair falling out. But the humans felt fine. Better than fine, actually. They felt strong. "This is interesting," Morgan said, studying her medical scanner. "Your cellular activity is actually increasing." "Increasing how?" Drake asked. "You're healing faster, thinking clearer, getting stronger." "The radiation?" Blake asked. "Maybe. Or maybe we're just built different." By the end of the second week, they were sure. The radiation that killed aliens was making humans stronger. Not just a little stronger. A lot stronger. Fox could lift twice her normal weight. Cole's reaction time was superhuman. Reed could process information like a computer. "We're not dying," Drake said. "We're evolving." "The aliens don't know," Reed said. "They think we're already dead." "Let them think that," Blake said. "It's better if they underestimate us." As they flew deeper into space, toward the forbidden Thanatos sector, the crew began to understand something important. They weren't victims, they weren't expendable. They were something the galaxy had never seen before. They were humans. And humans were very, very hard to kill. The Nexus Dawn flew on through the dark, carrying its crew toward whatever waited in the Thanatos sector. Behind them, the aliens counted down the days until the humans would be dead. They were going to be very surprised. 2 months later, the Nexus Dawn approached Federation space with an escort that made every alien military base go on full alert. Behind them flew ships from 100 different civilizations, all the species that the gardeners had preserved and the humans had helped set free. The former Death Hunters came too, but they looked different now. Instead of massive constructs built from stolen technology, they had broken apart into individual ships. Each one carried a crew that had chosen mortality over eternal preservation. "This is Federation Command," came a nervous voice over the radio. "Identify yourselves immediately." Captain Drake smiled as he answered. "This is Captain Drake of the human vessel Nexus Dawn. Mission accomplished." There was a long silence. "Impossible," the alien voice said. "You should be dead." "We got better," Reed replied cheerfully. The Federation fleet that met them was the largest anyone had ever seen. Hundreds of warships from dozens of species, all pointed at the returning expedition. "You will stop immediately and submit to boarding," came a new voice. Drake recognized it. Boss, the alien who had sent them to die. "I don't think so," Drake said. "You are criminals. You destroyed Federation property. You interfered with a classified operation." Blake laughed. "We survived your murder attempt. Sorry about that." The truth was spreading fast through Federation space. Reed had been broadcasting the real story of the Thanatos sector mission, how the Federation had sent expendable humans to die, how they had been feeding civilizations to the gardeners for centuries, how they had profited from the technology of the dead. "The people of the galaxy deserve to know," Reed had said. "They deserve to know what their leaders really are." Now, as the massive fleet faced the returning survivors, that knowledge was changing everything. Riots had started on Federation worlds. Species were demanding answers. The careful order that had kept the galaxy peaceful was falling apart. You will surrender now, Boss demanded, or we will destroy you. With what? Fox asked. She was right. The ships following them weren't just refugees. They were warriors who had been fighting the gardeners for thousands of years before being preserved. They had technology the Federation had never seen, weapons that defied understanding. More importantly, they were angry. The Federation knew, said a voice from one of the ancient ships. They knew we were suffering in preservation. They knew, and they did nothing. They used us, said another. Fed us to the gardeners like cattle. For profit, said a third. Drake opened a channel to the Federation fleet. You have one chance to do this peacefully. Stand down and let us pass. We outnumber you 1,000 to 1, Boss snarled. Numbers don't matter, Dr. Morgan said quietly. She had been studying the Federation fleet with their enhanced sensors. Look at them, Captain, they're scared. She was right. The Federation ships were holding formation, but barely. Many of their crews were from species that had thought their own people were lost forever. Now they knew the truth. Their loved ones hadn't died exploring. They had been murdered for profit. This is Commander Vale of the Federation ship Glory, came a new voice. I'm ordering my fleet to stand down. You cannot, Boss shouted. I'm in command here. Not anymore, Vale replied. My people were told our colony ship was lost to pirates. Now I find out you fed them to monsters. We're done. Taking orders from you. One by one, Federation ships began breaking formation. Some moved aside to let the humans pass. Others actually joined the growing fleet of liberated civilizations. You're destroying everything, Boss screamed. The Federation brought peace to the galaxy. The Federation brought slavery, Drake replied. We're bringing freedom. But the humans weren't done. As they flew deeper into Federation space, they made stops at each major world, not to conquer, but to share. The technology they had gained from the former world of death was beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Medical advances that could cure any disease, energy systems that could power entire planets, transportation that could cross the galaxy in days instead of years. We're giving it all away, Cole observed as they watched their data being downloaded on yet another world. That's the point, Drake said. Knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied. The former gardeners were learning too. They had spent so long preserving life that they had forgotten how to live it. Now they were experiencing everything for the first time. Hunger, tiredness, joy, sadness. It is overwhelming, one of them said to Morgan during a medical check, to feel everything so intensely. That's what makes it worth it, Morgan replied. The intensity means it matters. But we will die, the former gardener said. Our individual consciousness will end. Yes, Morgan said. But while you live, you'll really live. And when you die, you'll leave something behind that matters. What will we leave? Change, growth. The difference you made while you were here. The news of what the humans had done spread faster than their ships could travel. Worlds that had been under Federation control for centuries suddenly declared independence. Species that had been classified as expendable began demanding equal rights. You've started a revolution, Reed told Drake as they watched another Federation world celebrate its freedom. Good, Drake said. It was long overdue. But the Federation wasn't giving up without a fight. As the Nexus Dawn approached Earth, they found a massive fleet waiting for them. Not aliens this time, but humans. Ships from Earth's own military, crewed by people who still believed the Federation's lies. This is Admiral Park of Earth Defense, came a familiar voice. You are ordered to surrender immediately. Drake recognized the name. Park had been his commanding officer years ago before the Federation had recruited them for this mission. Hello, Admiral, Drake said. Good to see you again. Drake, is that really you? We were told you died months ago. The Federation told Hugh a lot of things. How much of it was true? Over the next hour, Drake and his crew told their story. Not just what had happened to them, but what they had learned about humanity's place in the galaxy. The radiation didn't just make us stronger, Blake explained. It activated something that was already in our DNA. What do you mean? Admiral Park asked. Dr. Morgan had the answer. We're not from Earth originally. Millions of years ago, our ancestors escaped from the gardeners. They found Earth and evolved there, but they kept the genetic memory of what they had learned. We're descended from the only species that ever successfully escaped the world of death, Cole added. That's why we could survive where others couldn't. That's why we fight differently, Fox said. Why we don't give up when things get hopeless. That's why we get stronger under pressure, Reed said. It's literally in our blood. Admiral Park was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. What do you need from us? Nothing, Drake said. We're not here to conquer or control. We're here to offer choice. Choice? The choice to be what we really are. Not the Federation's junior partners or expendable soldiers, but humans. The species that looks at impossible odds and says, watch this. In the end, Earth chose freedom. Not just for humans, but for every species that wanted it. The Federation's control collapsed as world after world chose independence over safety. The galaxy became a more dangerous place. Without the Federation's rigid control, there were conflicts and chaos. Some species made bad choices. Some civilizations failed, but there was also growth, innovation, discovery, life. The humans had kept their promise. They had come back alive, and they had changed everything. Any regrets? Fox asked Drake as they watched Earth's children spread across the galaxy, no longer bound by alien rules. Drake thought about the question. They had started this journey as expendable test subjects. They had ended it as the galaxy's liberators. None, he said. This is what humans do. We break things that need breaking. We free things that need freeing. We choose life over safety every time. Even when it hurts? Reed asked. Especially when it hurts, Drake replied. That's the price of being human, and it's worth every bit of pain. The Nexus Dawn flew on through space, carrying its crew toward new adventures. Behind them, the galaxy learned what it meant to be truly free. And somewhere in the dark between stars, ancient beings who had chosen mortality over preservation smiled with faces they had almost forgotten how to use. The hunt was over. Life had won.